Pay close attention because the pressure against Nicolas Maduro's regime is not letting up. President Donald Trump has designated the Venezuelan dictatorship as a foreign terrorist organization. This is something that had already happened with the drug trafficking cartel known as Los Soles, which, according to Washington, is led by Nicolas Maduro and several of his dictatorial officials. Following the designation, which is a heavy blow to the illegitimate activities carried out by the dictatorship, all oil tankers authorized to enter and leave Venezuela, we're talking about the ships, will be blocked completely. Trump also reminded that Venezuela is currently completely surrounded by the largest navy ever assembled in the history of South America.
Because of the theft of our assets and for many other reasons including terrorism, drug trafficking and human trafficking, the Venezuelan regime has been designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Therefore, today he orders a total and complete blockade of all authorized oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuela. The illegal and criminal migrants that the Maduro regime has sent to the United States during Biden's weak and inept administration are being sent back to Venezuela at an accelerated pace. The United States will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to steal from, threaten, or harm our nation, nor will it allow any hostile regime to seize our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately.
Nicolas Maduro asked Venezuelan migrants in Chile to return to their country, claiming that Venezuela remains the land of opportunity despite the severe political and economic crisis it is going through. This statement comes after the promise of the president-elect José Antonio Caz to take measures against undocumented migrants.
Nicolas Maduro is calling on Venezuelans living in Chile to return, according to him, to rebuild Venezuela, despite the ongoing political and economic crisis.
You could be a follower of Hitler and educated in Hitler's values. You could be a Pinochet supporter openly and admittedly, but be careful. If you so much as lay a finger on a Venezuelan, return to the homeland. This is the land of opportunity and everlasting happiness. And together we can recover this country more quickly. No one will persecute us here. Welcome to the homeland.
This woman had family in Chile. She points out that economically, Venezuela is not an option.
What you earn working over there is not the same as what you earn here to support yourself and others.
Her two nieces, faced with the promise of immigration reform by the new Chilean president, went ahead and migrated to a third country.
One left for Canada and the other for Spain because Chile is now somewhat similar to what we have here in Venezuela today with the president they have.
This other woman has her daughter in Chile, and it's unlikely that she will return to Venezuela.
No, she's doing very well over there in Chile. She doesn't need to come back because for those of us here, it's difficult. Just imagine someone who has had a different status abroad.
This young man lived for 5 years in Santiago, Chile. He returned to Venezuela for health reasons.
Honestly, I think it's something to really consider because they already have their own challenges, you know? One person's luck is not the same as another's. People are already settled. I don't see any reason for them to come back.
They're at ease for now, says this Venezuelan woman who has two cousins in Chile. For her, Venezuela will always be an option despite the difficulties.
So far, they haven't said anything about whether they're going to be kicked out if they're coming back. Honestly, they haven't said anything else. I think that returning to Venezuela or to your country of origin is always an option.
It is estimated that more than 700,000 Venezuelans live in Chile, representing 38% of the foreign population in that country.
The organizers of the High Festival Cartagena de Indias 2026 defended the importance of having a plurality of voices in their program, among which is the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Maria Corina Machado.
However, Harry, this invitation has caused a certain discomfort among two Colombian writers who, following Nicolas Maduro's narrative line, seek to accuse the besieged and persecuted political leader of promoting, according to them, an invasion in Latin America. Take a look for yourselves.
The Live Festival Cartagena de Indias 2026 will be the stage where around 180 guests from 25 countries will address complex realities through open and plural dialogue. And the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado will be there virtually. The Colombian writers Laura Restrepo and Giuseppe Caputo, as well as the transgender activist Michaela Druyart from the Dominican Republic, cancelled their participation, claiming it was a protest against Machado's involvement. All three accuse her of being a promoter of an alleged US military intervention in Latin America, without mentioning the electoral fraud committed by Nicolas Maduro's regime or the constant persecution faced by dozens of political leaders, including the legitimate president Edmundo Gonzalez and Machado herself, who spent 11 months in hiding. In 2023, during the Havana International Book Fair organized by Miguel Diaz-Canel's regime, Laura Restrepo participated in that cultural event without hesitation. Just as Caputo had no qualms this year about participating in and giving a talk at the Caracas Book Fair, where Nicolas Maduro was present at the opening ceremony. And of course, it was organized by the regime that has been harassing Machado for more than a decade. The organizers of the event defended the invitation to the Nobel Prize winner, highlighting their commitment to open and pluralistic dialogue.
It is important to clarify that the AI Festival does not align itself with or endorse the opinions, positions, or statements of those who participate in its activities, nor with their political stances. In fact, we constantly encourage the critical participation of both participants and the audience at the festival.
Machado will participate in the 21st edition of the High Festival via streaming in a conversation with Moises Naim, who will be asking the questions from Cartagena, and she will respond remotely.
The president-elect of Chile, José Antonio Cast, chose Argentina as his first international destination after winning last Sunday's elections. Cast arrived in Buenos Aires to hold a meeting with President Javier Milei as well as other authorities. The visit to the Casa Rosada highlights the strategic importance of the bilateral relationship, which is entering a renewed phase, and with a commitment to addressing the main challenges on the shared agenda, as well as regional and global issues. In the midst of his trip in Argentina, Cast spoke about Nicolas Maduro's dictatorship in Venezuela and commented on a possible US military intervention in the territory controlled by Maduro's regime.
I support any situation that puts an end to a dictatorship, a narco-dictatorship. Clearly, we cannot intervene in that because we are a small country, but we are victims of the terror that comes with having a dictatorship.